So,
Yeah.
how did this start? About an hour ago,
Literally said, let's do a podcast.
Woke up in the morning feeling good today.
I'm going to tell you the flavor. It's orange and watermelon. That's the flavor. And it's like a lollipop. It's not good. It's not manly. It's not cool.
What's manly? Just fucking
Double
wood?
apple.
Double.
Double apple. It tastes like licorice. It tastes like shit.
Yeah,
And
okay.
men like it because it tastes dumb. That don't taste good. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to smoke it, a few puffs, and then we're going to get high as fuck now. It doesn't do shit.
Let's have a good time.
I mean, I don't really smoke shisha a lot. I think we had some, what was it, maybe 5 or 6 years ago back up in Queensland?
How did we meet?
That's a
Do you
good
remember?
question. No. Was it through Kate?
I think it was.
But how did I meet Kate?
I think you were I was directing a music video that you were the cinematographer.
Yeah, yeah.
And
But you didn't ask for me to come on that.
no, the singer,
Yeah.
the artist,
Yeah.
said, I know this guy is great. And I said, is he though?
Fuck you.
Is he though? And then I got sick, and then you ended up directing with Kate.
Yes. Yeah.
I was
you
throwing
had,
up.
yeah,
Like
food
on the
poisoning
day.
or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
went
then you had to go. Yeah, so Phoenix was an hour? And then straight out.
Straight out, like an hour, and then I turned green. Well,
Yeah.
as green as you can see my skin tone. I mean, I'm
But we all fucking loved working together. It was
Yeah.
like just
Yeah, we kicked
like
it off,
the vibe
like-
was good.
straight off the bat. You touched my bum. I called.
The sexy bum, sexy bum.
You were telling me something in the car, and I was like, wait, just explain what's going on here, because I didn't. I have no idea what's happening. I don't go on socials.
So we talked about a lot of shit. What are you referring to? What was I talking about?
Two-pack thing.
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck's going on?
I think that just happened like 3 weeks ago or something like that.
Oh, that's not
Just-
even new.
Yeah, but you still don't know
I
about
have
it.
no
Yeah,
idea.
Yeah, so we might have to Google the guy's name, but they found who did it or who was behind it or who was in the car.
So is this who pulled the trigger? Or is this like the
Well, he
mastermind?
claims he wasn't the one that pulled the trigger, but he was in the car and he had passed the gun to the shooter.
Shit.
And he was the shot caller.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so basically from what I've been looking at is they actually knew about this like as far as even 2015 or even earlier.
Right.
He had a meeting with the FBI or the police and they gave him like, obviously, it's kind of like an immunity for what he says in the room with them. So anything he said to them couldn't be divulged. So he pretty much had said to them that he was in the car, but they couldn't use that against him.
Really?
But what he did is he thought that, well, maybe he thought that, this is the assumption, is that covered any time that he talks about it. He just had immunity. So he started going on podcasts,
Oh shit.
interviews,
No way.
pretty much kind of saying that, you know, he was part of that and involved in it. And they called, they got a warrant, arrested him not very long ago. And now they've got him. And, he's claiming that P. Diddy was the one that funded it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wouldn't PDD be like 12 years old when that happened? Like, how
No,
old's-
bro, he was running Bad Boy into this.
No,
So
I
it was
know.
like Death
But
Row
he's
and
like,
Bad Boy.
He was young. He was like new to the game. It wasn't like established,
But he was rich.
already rich.
Yeah, well, Bad Boy and Death Row were at its peak when that happened, right?
Right.
And from what the alleged, I don't even know what the correct terms are, man, but like what they're saying is he wanted Suge Knight to be taken out.
Wait. Just to clarify,
Yeah.
P. Diddy wanted Suge Knight out.
Yes.
And they
'Cause of
got-
the
they got
Bad Boy,
accident-
Death Row.
So this was an accident?
No. So it started off with him wanting Suge Knight out.
Right.
And then he had approached this guy. We got to get the name. It starts with D.
Can you type in, there's an invisible person over there. We don't have anyone.
I'll just Google it. I'll Google it. Yeah.
Yeah, Google it.
The guy who has been arrested is Dwayne Keefe D. Davis. And it's taken them 27 years to get him.
That's news to me.
Yeah.
That's cool. So we have the two-part, we've solved it. In
Apparently.
3 minutes. Fucking, there you go. You
It's
know?
done. It's done.
Tune in for it. Crime Stoppers.
Tune in to Shisha and Chill for all your news.
All your rap news. No, that's great. Fantastic. May he rest in peace, you know. One of the greats.
Yeah, greatest, my man. Greatest.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I think,
Well,
I think,
to me, he is, yeah.
no, yeah, I mean, Tiger lives in my heart.
Right.
I don't know if you've heard of this. I think it's a conspiracy, right? It's about how P. Diddy is in the closet, okay? And he blackmails rappers male rappers by having like sexual encounters with them. Okay. And there's a bunch of videos, like you can just, you know, YouTube, you know, P. Diddy conspiracy. And they'll come up with a bunch of videos. Yeah. There's one with Usher. And it's like, dude, just the way that video shows like power relationships between Usher, P. Diddy, it's like a party they threw or something in LA. And anyway, they're like, Usher's there, and then like there's innuendo in the conversations, and they're all drunk or high or whatever, and someone's videoing all of it, and the way P. Diddy kind of goes around and kind of manhandles Usher in a way, it's really bizarre. Like when you know well, it's not fact, but when you think you know the background of what's going on, and then you see that, you kind of go, "There's some smoke there, man."
Wow. So is this an old video?
Yeah, this is Usher, like, this is pretty old. I think it's at least 10, 15 years old. I'm making that out of my ass, but it's old. It's old enough. Whoa. Yeah, it's so it's interesting. Anyway, the P. Diddy keeps coming up when it comes to conspiracies in the rap world, you know.
Are you big on conspiracy theories?
I don't like, not really. No, like depends what you call
a conspiracy theory.
Yeah. What, how do you define it? I'm just finding the definition of conspiracy.
Oh, okay. Let's get into that.
All right. A secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. And the action of plotting or conspiring to do something. So when did this word like become like negative? You know, because it's in definition isn't.
Yeah.
But now anyone who says anything, you can just say they're a conspiracy theorist and it's gone, right?
I think it got negative when everybody took it like fact.
True.
Yeah. So somebody hears something and they're like, "Oh, I fucking heard that. That's true."
Yeah.
And they run with it and they start spreading that as fact.
Yeah.
And it just became, I reckon, tarnished from there.
Yeah.
So that's my.
No, I can see that.
Yeah.
You're smart, aren't you?
This fucking guy.
This is the weirdest thing I've ever done.
A podcast?
Yeah, because no one's gonna watch it, and
you'd be surprised.
And,
I mean, we're both fucking new to this. I'm used to being behind the camera.
No, but it's like I don't like even interviews.
Yeah. Okay.
When I do a film or something like that, I don't like to do it.
What is it about doing interviews you don't like?
Because it's generally fake.
Yeah. Okay.
It's generally like it's nice when someone's genuinely interested in, you know, something, and you can be genuinely interested in them. But if I don't know you and you're just interested in me, I find that bizarre.
Yeah.
Because I can't have a relationship with someone that's one way. That's why I don't have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Because I smell. No, it's because it's because I don't have it takes me. I was telling you this in the car. It takes me a little bit.
While.
Yeah, it takes me a while. Like moving to Victoria, Melbourne, like it was hard finding friends.
Yeah.
But I was very committed. I had a mission. You know, I had like a mission statement literally on my wall.
No shit.
Yeah.
What was it?
It was do or die, everything, every time, and it was about my profession.
Okay.
And I had all these visual stuff on the wall, and I didn't have a dollar to my name. And so I'd borrow money from my dad at the start. And then when that ran out, I just like, I remember one time I had $20 left for the whole week.
Fuck.
All right.
Yeah.
I was like, and before everyone like, oh, fucking go to work, bro. I was on full-time studying.
Yeah.
And I had given myself like a limitation, like I have to make this happen, because I'd seen other people do. I was young. I seen other people, this is how they did it.
How young?
24.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I'd just come out of university and I left my city. I had no network.
Yeah.
I didn't know anyone.
Yeah.
So I'm bigger city, knew
hard,
no
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had $20 left. And I went down to Woolies, which is like a grocery store, right? And I gave the guy, I bought like a bunch of tuna noodles and stuff, the cheap stuff for the week, right?
Yeah.
And I went to give the guy the money. No joke. He turned his head like that. And the money fell in between the counter and his cash register machine.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And he fell down. He didn't see it. And then he turns around and he's like, that will be like, $18 or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I had a 20 note. It just fell down. Can you get it?
Yeah.
And so he went down looking for it and he couldn't find it. And then I went down looking for it. Bro, I was so embarrassed because I couldn't pay. That was the only money I had.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck. And I was like, oh, look, I left my wallet at home. I'll come back. And he goes, yeah, if we find it, I'll leave it aside. And so I left hungry. And when I get hungry, I get angry.
Yeah.
Anyway, I left, went home. Fuck, what am I going to eat? Waited a couple of hours, went back. Hey, man, did you find my $20? No, we didn't find it. I look on the ground. I'm like desperate. Sometimes it's like Bermuda Triangle, but like the size of fucking like this big.
Yeah.
Size of like a plate. You put your key somewhere. You're like, I swear I left it there.
Yeah,
and then you can never find it. You're like, how the fuck does this happen?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like that. Never found it. Didn't find the 20. Didn't find the 20. And ended up embarrassingly asking a guy I knew, like, hey man, do you mind if I like borrow like just stuck for a second, borrow this thing and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, eventually ended up getting out of the gutter one way or another. I pulled myself through, but that was, I don't know how I got to this, but that was the lowest low in terms of like financials where you just like 20 is eat or don't eat.
Yeah. Fuck, bro. You've come a long way since then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had nothing.
Oh, fuck. That's hardcore.
Yeah. Have you had anything like that before?
I reckon I've struggled. Nothing like a situation that deep. I reckon I've definitely been to a point where it's like, all right, I'm going to live on some baked beans and toast for a little while.
Yeah.
And I think that's everybody that's like, I remember if going back to when I first started filming, right? My ex-partner, like she had my back, man. Like she was the one that was working while I spent like 6-7 months trying to build a website, get the stuff together because we knew I had the talent to do what I do. It was just, I was young, I was new to business, I had no idea what to do, and then I had to start advertising, right? So while I was the one staying at home, building websites, trying to like, because back then it was like, there was no Instagram. You know what I mean? It was like, if you wanted to advertise, it's like, you got to take an ad out in a magazine, a wedding magazine. And that shit wasn't cheap either.
There was wedding magazines?
There was wedding magazines.
Holy shit.
And you can wedding and bride.
Well, you would have your name and then your company.
You have to I had to design A4 page size ads to, if you want to get noticed. If you put a little thing in a wedding magazine, man, you're going to get
no one's going to
skimmed over, right. Yeah? And then you're going against these big other photographers and videographers that take out the back page, like the back cover of a magazine.
Yeah.
And that's full laid out, and they've got that. They've paid for that for like 2 years. So there's no way you're getting on that.
Right.
So it's like, all right, you got to try and get a page down. And it's like, how do you come up with that money? Now, me and her were living in a pretty, like, it was a nice townhouse, but it was expensive. We were trying to pull things together, so we didn't eat the best foods every night. And she wasn't like a lawyer or an accountant. She didn't have the biggest income coming in either. But she had my back, and we did that for about 6-7 months. And I just remember that was a massive struggle. Yeah. When I started that.
It's also like, I feel like I don't want to sound like stereotypical or whatever, but for dudes, it's coming from, like, that's a big thing. Not to be able to provide.
Yeah. It's a bit of an ego hit.
It's a big ego hit, man. Yeah. And it's not even an ego hit. Like, it's you can call it whatever you want, but you were hunters and you'd bring shit home, right? Yeah. So now here you are, and your woman's doing the work,
Yeah.
you feel like shit.
Yeah, because you want to, and we're also going to take it back to a point where it's like, I'm 43, and we're talking about when I was in my 20s, early 20s,
Yeah,
right?
right, yeah.
It's a different day and age to what it is now,
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
Traditionally, it was like men provide. I'm all for women taking
Hey,
taking the
provide
lead,
all you
right?
want,
yeah.
baby.
But it is. It's a bit of a hit.
Yeah. But also, like, time changes, things change. I don't know if I don't know. I don't want to speculate.
Put your foot in your
Yeah,
mouth.
no, but I don't know if how old was your partner then?
So if I think I was about, what the fuck was I? I think I was about 26. That would have made her about 23.
So your ex was about 23. Do you think 23-year-olds today would go with a man who has no money?
No. Absolutely.
There's no way.
No. I think dynamics are a lot different. But it also, like, generally, like, I don't even know if back then they would have. Like, I can't say for sure.
No, you're right. You're
but
right.
Generally speaking, I don't believe they would now.
Dude,
But
100
you find the right person and they fucking love you for,
exactly.
like, for who you are.
It's hard they'll have you.
Yeah.
But 100 years ago, it'd be like your parents.
Yeah.
Like if like I have a daughter, right? And we moved like 100 years ago, and my daughter is 20 and is ready to sort of settle down, and that's what it was like back then, right?
Yeah.
And 150 years ago in a third world country, they say,
Yeah.
you're gonna hey, all right, you don't have a job. Do you have a farm? Do you have cows? Do you have sheep?
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what my parents would be like. As a parent, I'd be like, well, who's this guy?
Yeah. Okay.
Who's his family? Does he have wealth? And it wasn't because of status. It was survival.
Yeah, and making sure your kids are like
Dude, it
looked
was.
after.
It's like I'm thinking about your grandkids.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about 4 generations down. When I die, what did I do different?
Yeah.
Did I change? Did I move? Did I move the needle?
Yeah.
Did I change the path? And every decision your kid makes the trajectory of your ancestry can shift
Yeah.
at any point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like that's deep.
Yeah. Fucking deep.
I think about that shit.
So how much? Yeah. Fuck. Thinking back on our ancestry, how much did they move the needle?
How much did they move a needle? Yeah. Was I like, look, every culture's had slavery era.
Yeah.
Right. So Persian culture, we had a big,
well, not every culture, but
not culture, but there was slavery widespread.
Yeah. Yeah.
From the Russian era, the Persians had slaves, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They had different rules around it, but they had slaves.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't call it slaves. I think there's a specific word the Persians used that was like service givers, basically translated to.
Yeah.
And basically, it wasn't like the Americanized version. It wasn't like I own a person, which is, it was like this person is going to serve for a period of time. Their kids cannot serve, so they weren't serving. So their kids couldn't be. If they had kids, it wasn't like it passed down to generations.
Okay.
It's like your father paid the debt.
Okay.
The debt they didn't owe a debt, so it was fucked up.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, but they paid it. That was the rule.
Yep.
At some point down the line, 1,000 years back, I wonder sometimes who is my great grandmother? You know what I mean? Who is she? What was she like?
Yeah.
Like, how cool would it be to be able to and I'm sure that in the future they can, through DNA, sort of, not maybe accurately, but figure out where you were more accurately.
Yeah.
And what life was like for you as a person. Imagine like not an app, but like a group of people, right? This is a good fucking business. This is a good business. Group of people who specifically you go to and they find your ancestry specifically through your DNA and genes, where they were exactly, and through that, break down who they were, what they did, how did they speak?
Yeah.
What did they look like?
Oh fuck, that's full on. Yeah, that would be cool. I think they got stuff where they can kind of track what you've down to a T, like what you've got in your DNA.
Yeah,
like
I did that.
Like a lot of people come up with different
I did that. I
nationalities
got,
they
I got different, like, I'm 1% Nigerian.
No shit. Okay.
So I've got some Nigerian in
Yeah.
me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
where does that come from?
So my mum and dad have told me I've got American Indian in me. All right. I actually want to do one of those tests to just see how much, because apparently it was like my great or something like that. Nana was Native American.
Right.
And I would love to know,
That's how the fuck
because
that-
I'm obsessed with Native Indians, man.
Yeah, it's
And I would love to know, like what tribe I'm from.
Yeah.
Was I fucking an Apache? Because I
Yeah.
love those guys.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll
So
be awesome.
yeah, but you're on something. I would love to.
I mean, look,
That'll be awesome.
I'm an ideas man. I'm not an action person. I give you 20 ideas. You go do it. I got businesses.
Yeah.
The one that pisses me off the most, not the most, but one of the business ideas that I've had, that I'm like, how have they not figured this out? And I've not really looked into it. How have they not stopped balding in men?
Bro, tell
How?
me about it.
How?
I do podcasts with a hair place, right? And we talk about it all the time. Like, they specialize in hair that's like fine and thinning for females, right? But baldness is still fucking toupees.
Like cure. What's
Yeah.
the cure?
Yeah.
Do you know
Because
what I
I
mean?
want some fucking hair back, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's a multi-billion dollar. Like, talking about 50% of men and 40% of
I wonder
women.
if there's a real simple way that they figured out and they threw it out because it's too cheap. And maybe they make more money from all the little things that they do, like the pills.
That's a real thing, man. That's a real thing where they, like, in the early 19th century, they decided, we're making shit that lasts long.
Yeah.
That's not good for business,
Yeah.
right? So they decided to go, okay, we're going to make stuff that breaks down. Now, I don't know if this refers to balding, but like
Conspiracy theories.
electricity, light. You go to London, you go to Europe, they're like lamps, bro, that are like 1,000 years old, still on.
Yeah, fuck.
You can't make that now.
That's the old saying, right? They don't make things like they used to.
Yeah. well,
Everything is fucking cheaply made now, man.
Okay. Maybe money is a factor in like, you want something, you got to make it cheap. They were fucking poor back then, bro.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah,
like they
true.
were rich.
Yeah, true.
They were poorer than us. We lived like kings.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, not
In
like king, not all of
comparison.
us.
In
In comparison to,
yeah.
back then, it's like, at least that there's a potential in the Western world.
Yeah.
There's a potential for you to be able to feed yourself.
Yeah.
That was living high back then.
Yeah. Fuck, this is cool. Going back, like, talking about, like, generations before. But it's, like while we're talking about that, isn't it, like, funny how far or how different, though, we are now? It's like, you say we're living like kings, but everybody right now is also very sensitive, right? I feel like
Yeah, tell me about it.
as time has gone on, our generations are so different. Like, things were made better back then, and they might be cheaper now. But then back then, there wasn't as much rights. But right now, everybody's really sensitive about their rights, even though there's more rights. Like,
Yeah.
it's like
It's a balance.
It's like, yeah,
it's
it's
a
like,
balance that's missed.
are we always going to have like these rights struggles? Like, I don't know how to phrase it the right way, but it's so different now. Like, I look back onto the 90s.
Yeah.
My era of
Yeah.
like growing up, like my teenage years, and I fucking miss the 90s, bro. It wasn't perfect. Like, I love that we got a lot more quality and stuff happening now.
Yeah.
Like, back when I was growing up, a lot of things that I believe now wasn't what was instilled in me back then. Like,
What do you mean? What do you mean?
So like, I'm all for like gay rights, man. I voted yes for equality, right? My point of view on that is so different to when I was younger because it's education, right? Education wasn't there. Like, it was wrong everywhere you went. You go,
Yeah.
religion said it was wrong. And when I was younger, I was Catholic. I'm still Catholic, but I don't really practice it now for a lot of reasons like that.
Yeah.
So equality wasn't the same back then. But fuck, man, did we live in the moment? Like,
Yeah.
There was none of this TikTok, social media shit where we were constantly on it. Like, yeah, go have a look at social media, enjoy it. But when we're like, our heads are in it 24/7 a day.
Yeah,
We're disconnected.
Yeah.
Like when we weren't connected as back in the 90s, man.
Nah. It's a different thing.
Yeah. And if you wanted to like have a chat with someone, you'd go and you'd see him. Like you'd see your mate face to face. And if you're having dinner with them, you'd be talking to him. You won't have your head in the phone, right?
Yeah.
No one does that shit no more.
Nah.
So like, yeah, like there's things that we've lost from the 90s and there's things that we've gained now. I wish we had the equality back then. But I miss the 90s and the way humans connected, man. We don't connect like that no more.
No, that's right. You know, I was listening to this guy, I'm going to butcher his name, I can't remember, but anyway, he was talking about how mental health, especially like not just mental health, but like ADHD,
Yeah.
things along those lines, like, you know, PTSD,
Yeah.
ADHD, like have increased 5 times in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
That's 5 times of the world population. And look, that, I mean, how do they fucking even survey the world? I mean, this is bullshit. They get 1,000 people.
I mean, it's pretty full, right? I mean, there's different ways to look at it. Maybe we've just got more access to statistics now.
Yeah, but then, you know.
But when I look at,
this is so fucked up though. Like, yeah, we have access, but who's running the numbers now?
yeah, I mean, look, back in the 90s and growing up, I was I was very happy, man.
Yeah.
I was very connected to the world.
Yeah.
And I feel the more that we placed our faith in technology,
Yeah.
we connected to online
Yeah.
and disconnected from real life.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm a victim. I'm a victim of that. I remember I also was very addicted to social media myself. You know, it started off because of business, and people like hide behind that. It's for business. It's for business. But then you also start to like, you slowly start to like, then look at it. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. And then the more every day you get a little bit more hooked on it.
Well, you've seen that Netflix doco about what's it called? Anyway, it's about people in San Francisco, you know, the valley, who were behind, you know, some of these apps, some like Instagram, blah 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 blah. They wouldn't let their kids have them at all.
Wow.
Because they had access to the data that showed how quickly people become addicted, and addiction is so hard to break.
Yeah.
So they had access to that information, and so they wouldn't let their own kids on it, but they would sell it to everybody else.
Yeah.
Money talks, baby.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was like when I saw that, I was like, tomorrow I'm getting off it. And like I'm not a big, I do like the fucking videos of like people fighting on the streets. I don't know, I'm messed in that.
Yeah.
I do watch.
They're funny. Oh, look, don't get me wrong. Some of it's funny.
It's funny, but it's also not good.
Like you got to switch off.
You just like, what fucking hour went?
Yeah.
Just like, you know, it's just wasting your time. You know? I've started to really get back into sort of look internally a bit more and you know, and really focus, because it's the commodity of focus is right now what we're fighting for.
Yeah.
Focus is your gold.
Yeah.
And they're mining it.
Yeah.
And so you have to if you want yourself, your identity back, you want to be an individual who's strong, who can be relied on by others in your community, man, you got to get your focus back.
Yeah.
Get it in your own hands and fucking drive towards your goal, and don't look back, and focus is your fuel.
Yep.
That's the fuel, man. And they want it. Everything
they want it. Yeah.
They produce is about getting your focus.
Yeah.
And so I realized that. I mean, I knew everyone knows it.
Fucking real. I like an articulate way of putting it. I like it.
Yeah. But in order for you to get it back, that's what's difficult.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard.
Well, I kind of cut myself off social media for a good many years, right? Only recently started posting because someone was saying, you know, oh, you need to like showcase your work. So I just popped on some like product photography and stuff like that. But I don't get onto social media to like sit there and look at other people's lives. Like every now and again, I might look at something that interests me. Like is a freestyler that's fucking the most amazing freestyler I've ever seen, right? And I'll watch that for a little bit and then I'll move on.
Yeah, I know
I'll
that
get
guy.
back to work, yeah?
Yeah, he's good.
Who?
I don't know his name, but he's a white guy.
Yeah,
He's
Harry
very
Mack.
good. Yeah, that's right.
He's fucking amazing,
Yeah, he's
bro.
great.
Like I've never seen anyone
Yeah,
freestyle
yeah,
like that.
he's like, he just picks at you.
He's a genius. Yeah, he's a
awesome.
genius. But you know, like I dabble in it, but to me, I feel like reconnecting with people. So like when I spend time with my girls, right? Whatever I'm doing with them, you will not see a phone in my hand,
Yeah,
right?
that's
I
it,
am
that's
100% in that moment with them. If I go out to lunch, if I'm doing a podcast with someone, I'm 100% in the moment with it, yeah?
Yeah.
And I feel that's what everybody needs to do and take their fucking focus off just constantly on social media.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's true. Like one of the ways I can disconnect is, first of all, I live in the mountains.
Yeah.
That's very important to me.
Yeah.
Right?
We're chilling here right now. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Just the air is different, and just being away from populated places. You know, I've been lucky to like move around the world a lot and live in different places. And I've realized places that are super populated are usually lack community. I mean, that's, for some reason, that's, you know, I was doing some service work back in the day. Like, it's like a Baha'i, like I'm a Baha'i.
What?
A religion,
Okay.
a minority religion in Iran. And did some service work. And I remember, like, in order to actually help people, we needed to go into places that had a sense of community. It was much, much more difficult to go to places that lacked community already established.
Yep.
Whether it's cultural, you know, some cultures just, there's a sense of community within the culture. But usually it was out in the outer areas and not in the city.
Yep.
The city was not a place we would go because it was just the barrier to entry in terms of getting people to actually listen to you and connect to you and actually, like, you want to serve them.
Yeah.
That's the point. That was the point of the program I was in. It's like, just want to help people, right? Man, you couldn't help people because they wouldn't connect with you. Like, if I want to do something with you, if I want to make a change with you, I got to first connect to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck oath you do.
Yeah. Whether it's just us having a conversation, whether it's just like, you know, being able to even ask for help, you got to have a sense of network, just even a hope.
Yep.
And so if you haven't grown up in a place where there's community, you've never seen network, you've never seen people help each other, you've never seen community.
Yeah,
you don't know what it is.
Yeah, you got to experience it. Yeah.
You got to experience and go that. And when you're disconnected from it, you know what that is. Yeah. And so, look, a lot of people who create these apps and stuff, they're the loneliest people.
Yeah.
Their community is money, and had to overdo it on the other guy, had to get a leg up, so to speak, you know?
Yeah.
And so for me, man, when we're doing that, I realized two things: power of communication, just being careful with how you say things, never wavering when you know something is true, right? And being like detached from result and open-hearted and going, hey, like we're here in this community because there's a bunch of kids who are like wagging school. We see them in streets doing criminal shit. And we're creating this program. It's called the Junior Youth Program. I want to get you in, right? And start talking about things like that. Like you have something in you. You got to find what that is. You got to wrap it up as a gift, and you got to serve it to the world and get everyone to participate in the bounties that thing you do brings. You know how many potential great people you can get out of that system?
Yeah.
Greatness.
Do you think, though, that society now, though, it's harder to speak your truth now than it used to be? I feel like every time we say something, you got to be too careful. Like, you want to speak your truth, but you got to be too careful because somebody's gonna take that shit and it's like always a sensitive topic with like I don't feel like we have the same freedom of speech as what we used to because it's annoying somebody.
Yeah, look, man, like my experience, I was 10, younger. I was about 7, 8 when I left Iran. Iran is obviously under a dictatorship.
Yep.
Right. Man, zero freedom of speech,
Yeah.
especially if you're a minority in any way, shape or form. Women, religious minority, cultural minority like the Kurds, even a refugee like the Afghans would come to Iran as refugees, and they had like zero rights. So coming from that system and realizing, okay, we have certain freedoms in the West, right? Especially in the 90s.
Yeah.
We had certain freedoms.
Yeah.
There were still back then things were lacking in terms of how you were controlled economically, right? In order for you to be able to, for example, in Australia, it's a very Australian thing. In order for you to have real freedom, you need to own a home. Like, we're talking about true freedom.
Yeah.
Then slowly we've seen a degradation of that alongside speech. But I don't really know if it's what we've put on us because we are, generally speaking, social creatures and we don't want to get into it.
Yeah.
You know, everything I say, I don't want to just get into it all the time. So I just prefer not to say it.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't want to say the thing that's going to be the elephant in the room that most of the people in the room actually agree with. But just in case you say something that might offend one person. So you just go, I don't want to say it. I'm not sure. Maybe we are making a better culture doing that way. I don't think so.
I don't know,
fucking
man.
don't
I mean,
think
I'm gonna open up a can of worms, right? Like we fight for equality, right, and freedom of speech. And when I look at me now compared to who I was when I was a lot younger, I am so like open, like equality is massive to me. I support feminism.
Wait, let's just define equality from your. What do you mean?
Define equality?
Yeah.
Okay. Human beings, right, being equal in stature, regardless of race, sex, or religion.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I am an
inherent being.
Yeah, just I think what we need to do is judge people on morality. Like that's the basis of it.
You judge them as their individual actions.
Yeah, well, I think
right?
everybody has a right to have their individuality, right? And as long as you're not out there with malicious intentions, right?
Yeah.
I feel like if your moral ground is solid, judge the person on their moral ground. So you cannot judge someone off a fucking sentence they said. You cannot define a human being and everything they're about based on one thing that they've said that you disagree with. That's not freedom of speech because...
That's tyranny.
Yeah, and it's like that's your opinion. Your opinion might be different. So you can't come at them and be like, they're this, they're that, based on their difference of opinion, right? And I feel like as much as we've all fought for equality, I believe in feminism, right?
Define feminism.
Equal rights for females. Like
males.
Yeah.
They're just equal right humans.
They're both human beings, right? And I feel like for a long time, there's been a lot of misogyny, right, in the past and chauvinistic behavior. And I've never been about that. So I've always been in support of feminism. But like, okay, so I'll get into some of this stuff,
let me stop you here.
Yeah, go.
Okay, a couple of things. All right. A point of difference between you and me in terms of our understanding of things. Equality.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with exactly what you said, how you defined it. I think it's a good definition. I'd be careful with the word judgment, period.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe how there's two things, maybe there's more, but there's two things I know that I can't force you into doing.
Mm-hmm.
One, respect me. I can't force you to respect me.
Absolutely.
I can be the king of the world.
Yep.
And I could have the wrath of fear in my right hand and the weapons that the mankind has created in my left. Yep. You'll never respect me. You'll obey me.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing is love.
Yeah.
I can never force you to love me.
Yeah.
That's willing, selfless thing you have to give.
Yeah.
All right? So those two things are things I can't force you to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, you cannot.
Now, what's happening today with regards to equality, the words, everyone says them the same. How they get there, I disagree with. What they're doing on the far left, I mean, I'm not even going to talk about the far right. I mean, they've already established what they're about. The far left is supposed to be not the far left, but the idea of progressiveness is supposed to be a beacon of light in the dark sort of thing. Man, that is tainted by their behavior, by their action. So judge, maybe not judge, maybe there's a better word for it. Maybe calculate someone's standing in society and their integrity based on their action. Their action defines them.
Yeah.
Right? And their words doesn't always define them, although it has an indication as to what they might, because words come before action, an indication of the direction with which they're going, and you might not agree with it. And that's okay, man. You don't got to agree with everything.
No, you don't. No.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a difference with us. I think my use of the word judge is that when you do something, I'm automatically calculating, right? If you do something that I don't agree with, I'm still judging it.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we define judgment different.
I think
judgment isn't like I'm putting something on you as after judgment is punishment, right? So it's like judgment and punishment.
Yeah, I think we do. We look at it very different. Yeah. So I think your definition of calculating and my definition of judgment is pretty much on par. Gotcha, right. Gotcha. I won't sum up a person's whole being on a point of difference.
Right. Gotcha.
Okay. I will, however, like when you say equality, right? I don't feel like every single person is on the same level, right? So if there is a man, right, and another man, one treats people like shit and the other treats people really good. They're both men. So the equality in that case is it's a case by case scenario, right?
Right.
When I talk about equality, I'm talking about men should not, in general, be treated better than women.
Oh, I mean, that's stupidity. Yeah. That's tyranny. That's Iran. That's dictatorship.
That's where it comes down to equality.
Right. But do we have that now in the West?
Do we? No. I don't know if we ever will have complete equality.
No,
I think we're fighting for it, but I think we're taking steps back at the same time.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we're going way back now.
Yeah. We've messed up the moving forward, and I'll use my example of like, okay, I said to you earlier that I am all for gay rights, right? I don't need to be gay to have respect for somebody else's sexual preference, religion, race. I don't need to be the same.
Yeah.
Right. But when I was younger, I didn't know any better. So when I was like in my 15, 16, 17, I was against homosexuality, bisexuality, because I didn't understand it. And it was what was dictated to me. Like, so religion has always been against it. You know, I grew up as a Catholic and religion's always been against that. Right?
What was the angle?
What do you mean by angle?
What was the point of view of Catholicism?
It's a sin. It's basically a sin. It's abomination.
Okay, it's an abomination. It's a sin.
Yeah.
What is it? How do you define sin?
So the religion's a completely different thing, right? We can get into it, but
all right, let's put that aside. I'm going to come back to the word sin. I want to talk to you about that a little bit. But,
okay.
But
so I guess growing up with that and like everything, like the words that was used, like if you were gay back in the day, you would be bashed. People will beat the shit out of you because you were gay.
Yeah, it was fucked up.
It was fucked up.
Yeah.
So we've progressed in that way, but I feel like what society's doing now is they're not allowing for progress in an educational way. I educated myself to understand that you cannot.
What was the point? Well, how did you get to that?
I broke myself away from what I was taught. I decided to stop listening to what I'm being told and to research and understand what I don't know myself, right? So like when it comes to religion or any topic really, you listen to what they teach you in school, you listen to what your parents or your friends or people that you trust tell you. We need to break away from just listening and then start educating ourselves. Research. If you don't really know about something, research it yourself. Find out the facts on it yourself. And I started to find out that homosexuality is not necessarily a choice. People don't do it just because it's the latest fashion, right? They can't help that.
Yeah.
But that's education.
Yeah.
I learned that myself through educating myself. But now, as we move forward as individuals, or whatever that we're doing, like if people are still up about equality, if someone isn't the same, if someone's still misogynistic, instead of educating them, right, they torment them, or they bring them down, or they ridicule them because their opinions
now
different.
it's even if you're not, you're still getting bashed.
Yeah, so but it's like whatever you say
can be construed in any way you think, echoed by the chambers you're in, and then boom, this person is that. And when you're the other, depending, no matter what that means, when you're the other, when you're less than, right? If your basic level of understanding of humanity is that we're all equal, it should be a full stop there.
Fucking oath.
That's it. The basic rules, humanity is equal. Full stop.
Yep.
I don't think Jesus said this person loved them more than this person.
No.
Love all. That's the basis of religion now, tainted by
Human.
all the other human aspects, like everything else.
Humans brought in equality.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that now, if you allow yourself to look at someone who disagrees with you as less than based on your measurement of their moral, ethical value, then you're allowing yourself, opening up yourself to like do whatever the fuck you want to them in terms of tyranny, in terms of it doesn't matter because they're bad.
Yeah.
Not only bad, they're less than human. And that's the mentality of the far right.
Yeah.
The far right. I mean, World War II, man, wasn't long ago. Right now, to this day, some places in Africa, North Korea, Iran, they have the same mentality. And there's this weird, like, bizarre far left connection to minority. In the US, there might be minority, but they're populist in their own countries and they're dictators.
Yeah.
And there is some level of respect and love for them. They would throw you off the fucking roof if you were there in their country. They would, they killed a lot of Baha'is.
Yep.
They murdered a lot of Baha'is. And we were second-class citizens, couldn't go to university, okay, weren't allowed to have businesses. On the walls, blood of a Baha'i, if the dead spilled is a blessing, you'll go to heaven, and all this stuff, okay? And you're allowing yourself, based on some twisted, weird ideology, that a minority of people, minority is the key word, believe in, but they're able to echo it because it's financially became a commerce. So corporations started putting it into their DNA and pushed it on people.
Yep.
And it feels real loud. It feels like it's majority, but it's not. It's not, man. So be assured that it's not majority, but it doesn't take the majority to do evil things. It takes minority.
Yeah.
I think only maybe less than 1% of the people in Iran control the country who are actually extremists.
Okay.
It's less than 1%.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah. They're just willing to kill. And, and if you look at someone less than human, the steps to put them in prison, if they say this, the steps to get rid of their jobs, make sure they don't work, make sure you kill off the ability to make money and livelihood for their families in order to show them what? What do you want to show them? Make them more angry? Or do you want to show them love? What are we doing here?
Yeah, I'm glad you said the word love, because I feel this is what we're doing right now as society, right? We are fighting hate with hate, right? So if you want to fight for equality, you cannot do that by hating on the people that aren't there yet. Yeah. If someone isn't there yet, then it's education. Yeah. It's making them see it. And if you can't make them see it, you got to be patient, right? So racism was massive. When I was younger, it was massive, right?
Yeah,
I remember
it was commonplace for us.
Back in high school, I was dating a girl, and I remember we were running down the streets. They were on their bikes, and I was running. We were trying to get to a train station, right? They were both fair-skinned. So it was the girlfriend at the time and her cousin.
You had a white girlfriend?
I did.
How was that?
Well, not really. She was Sri Lankan, but she was white.
That's not white.
Yeah, well, she looks white. Looks white compared to me. Yeah, looks white compared to me. All right. Actually, no, she was Anglo-Indian. Skin color completely different.
Yeah.
We were trying to get to a train station. They were on their bikes. I was running behind them. It was time to get there, right? And we got stopped by the cops. and the cops automatically assumed, even though like we were laughing and running and all that stuff, they automatically assumed that I was pursuing them. Now
Really?
those things kind of hit you. Like, you know, I used to get pulled over for walking down the street by a cop. Just walking.
You do look pretty dodgy, bro.
Shut up.
I'm just saying.
but like what I'm saying is like it really does. It comes down to education. Racism changed over time, and it wasn't by hating white people. It was about education. They slowly became to understand that we're the same. Gay rights, massive step forward, right? We're talking about racism, massive step forward. Feminism, massive step forward. But then all of a sudden what's happening now, what I feel anyway, is that opinions now, you have a different opinion and you will be crucified for it. Right?
Yeah, it's become you know, the dam has opened and the water that was clean is being tainted with shit, and everyone is drinking up.
Yeah, and so once upon a time, though, there was a clear definition, a difference, right? If someone didn't like you for the race, religion, or sex that you preferred, right, there was a difference. People knew it, right? Now, you can't even go to a comedy show where someone might make a joke on race without someone making that a personal attack.
Yeah, those people really, like, I don't know, man. I think I have an immigration mentality when it comes to that kind of thing, because those people need to harden the fuck up.
Yeah, okay. That's one way to put it. Yeah,
they need to harden the fuck up, because
I feel like
the world
you're taking
outside,
away the ability of people to just have fun now.
bro. Oh man, I just want those people to travel a little bit more, and go in places where real hate exists.
Yeah,
right? Real hate, in your face hate, and go, oh, that person making that joke, I'm glad they're able to do it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I live in a place where people can talk and not be crucified. I don't know. I mean, I know kind of, and I have an idea where it went and how it went wrong. But I don't understand why they're holding on.
Okay, I think this is where the difference is, and it comes down to you as a person, right? You need to be able to judge the difference between intent, right, and just enjoying.
But they argue intent doesn't mean anything.
No, if you think somebody who's making a joke as a comedian, right, is their intent to spark hate, or they have something against a race, right? They're doing it to spark hate. That's different to having fun. You take Russell Peters, for instance. He talks so much shit about Anglo-Indians, man.
Yeah.
And his background is Anglo-Indian.
Yeah.
But then he also dips into Asians.
But
everybody at that time laughed because his jokes were funny and had no malicious intent.
They're still funny.
Yeah.
And look, man, you go into a comedy show, shut the fuck up. It's a comedy show.
Yeah.
Don't go.
Yeah.
You don't have to go.
That's the difference, right? That's the difference I'm talking about. You can't like completely just say, stop anything that you say, right? Because then now what you're doing is saying, don't talk, man. Don't be yourself. Don't do anything.
Not only don't talk, but also say certain words that I need you to say.
Yeah.
And if you don't say them, it's violence.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Now, I still love them.
Yeah.
You know why? Because I actually think, like, at least it's coming from a place in their twisted minds, from a place of like, I'm trying to make the world better.
Yes.
But again, do you think, I don't want to say they're the same thing, because they're not. But the worst of the worst. I don't know. Does anyone like when I when as an actor, when you're getting a role and it's a villain. The number one rule, generally speaking, is you don't judge your characters, right? Because you generally don't judge yourself.
Yep.
Generally, you can be down on yourself. You go, oh, you fucking idiot, you did that. But that's an aware character. It's specific. but you don't judge the villains, right?
Mm.
So I wonder if Mao from China or Hitler or Stalin or the Ayatollah, do they go, we're the bad guys?
Mm.
Do they go, hey, we're the fucking bad guys.
Yeah.
Let's take that role. Or do they go, I'm doing it for my country. I truly believe that this is the best way forward. I think the latter. I think the latter.
Yeah.
Because that's it's really hard to motivate off negativity, and regardless of whatever you want to say, to rule a country, man, you can't even rule a house for a long period. It's hard to clean your house and like stay in control of your own little domain, and make sure that to rule a country, you have to have motivation.
Mm.
Okay, you have to have a certain level of fucking fierceness and tenacity, right? And be motivated by something. And it's hard to be motivated by negativity. Not always, it's sometimes good to know, like, I have an enemy in mind that I got to beat. And that can be construed as negative, but you're motivated by that's the fire that kindles the wood and keeps burning. But generally speaking, positivity, it's far stronger as an attractive source. Yep. So they're thinking I'm making my country better. They're thinking I'm for my people.
Their own twisted way. Yeah.
In their own twisted way. So in that essence, those people who believe that this is the only way to get equality is to destroy whatever I, as the judge of all, construe as not right and moral. Mm-hmm. I have to destroy them. Then we can have goodness in the world. You're not far from the fucking tyrannical ideologies that existed before you, and we've seen what happened to them. So to me, you're going in a bit of a circle. You're going to hit that point.
It's actually a fucking great way to kind of describe when people attack people for a difference of opinion.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it is. It's like you cannot get equality by bashing on the people that don't believe in equality yet. Yeah. It's education. The lack of a better word, man. It's education. It's like people who don't know yet, they need time to get to know it. And if they don't, you just got to try.
You know Jocko?
No.
He's a Marine, American. This is like motivational speech now, and very disciplined dude. And he was talking to another guy on a thing, and he was talking about detachment. How, like, I listened to it the other day, how if you step back, in order to be detached from something, you're in the fight of it, in the heat of it, step back, just physically step back, have a look around and judge the environment, the tone of what's happening right now, where it's going to lead to. Take a breath and go, is this going to get me what I want? And usually the answer is no. Because what you want is equality in the world.
Yeah.
But if you're in the heat of it and creating division by your actions, you're doing the opposite.
Yeah, you're not going to
So step back, take a breath and go, even if I know I'm 100% right here, even if I know this is not the way to tell this person that. I want to talk about, you've got this thing. You said you had a real big shift a couple of years ago because you went through something. You want to talk about it or not?
Yeah, we can talk about it. I mean, when I talk about it, I'll always talk about it from my point of view, and I'll always be respectful to other people. I'm down.
Yeah. So I want to know, like, I've been real motivated the past 3 weeks. Now, like, with me, with motivation, I don't know if it's same with you. Yeah. I fall off, I get back on the horse, and I go hard, and then whatever outside of my powers comes through, whether it's a job that I have to be away for, whether it's injury, whether it's something that puts me in a headspace where my motivation sort of dwindles and then I have to start again. I've had that happen all my life. Yeah. In the past 3 weeks, I just quietly, like, I was just sitting on the couch and I was like, get up. And so I got up, go downstairs. I went downstairs, work, and I haven't stopped.
Okay.
And usually I have to shout at myself, fucking get up, do it. There's energy behind it. This was like a whisper. It wasn't a shout.
Yeah.
Right? And it's feels like the most motivated I've ever been. And it's weird. It's like it came out of nowhere. And you go through valleys and mountains and valleys and mountains. But my point was, what motivated you? I'm more interested in that. What motivated you to change after you went through what you went through? So you want to just give me briefly what you went through and then talk mainly about like the change. What kindled that switch?
It was a long fucking journey though. I went through depression and a pretty fucking hard one. And I think I'm pretty lucky in the sense that not everybody comes out of it on the right side. It takes them a long time. But sometimes it takes losing everything to put things into perspective as well.
Why?
I think you just hit bottom and then you have to ask. And some people, I feel, all right, I'm going to just throw it out here. We get in our own way as humans, right? We get in our own way so many times that we don't take enough time to connect with ourselves. We're constantly wanting someone else to make us feel better or to be around someone else. And we don't spend enough time with really getting to know ourselves. We get an idea of ourselves or an idea of what we want to be or project, but we don't be, right?
That's really good. I just want to stop you there because I want to delve into that a bit more.
Okay.
What tangible tools, right, were you able to use? What
This is it's hard to break that down, man, because right now it comes down to you being in the right mental space to do that, and you have to want it, right?
But what triggers that? What I'm interested in is,
all right, so
we're talking basically at the basis of it. We're talking about willpower, for change, versus something that has to happen to you. Yep. Willpower requires you to ignite something forward from within you.
Yep.
And being reactive is a requirement of what you said, which is you're waiting for something to happen to you. So you're saying, I ignited something. I realized I cannot wait for something exterior to affect change in me. It had to be from the inside. I can understand the realization of that because that's a general sort of psychological human thing. But how were you able to ignite that?
If you want like a straight up answer for people on how to do it, I can't give you a one way answer, right? What I can
just
say
for
is
you,
this.
I mean.
Well, okay, so what I can say is when everything breaks down around you, you have to ask yourself the question, and it's you that have to do it. Is it me or is it everybody else?
That's great.
That's the question you got to ask yourself. And then what you'll come to realize is when you can start being honest with yourself, because everybody and this is the fucking thing I see a lot, right? Everybody wants honesty. Even like, we'll get to dating apps in all these conversations as well. But like when you look at dating apps, everybody says, I want honesty. And I don't believe anybody really fucking understands what that fucking means, right?
Yeah.
You first have to strip away everybody else's idea of you. Every single person, I believe, tries to project a certain image that they want people to see, right? Because we all want to be liked, we all want to be loved, we all want to be admired. We've got this idea of ourselves that we want to project onto everybody else, but we're not 100% sure of who we are ourselves. And so you've got to like completely strip yourself of everything you are hiding behind as well. Like you believe you are this, and take that shit away and being completely honest with yourself. Are you this, and this, right? And until you have this I don't give a fuck attitude, and not in the traditional sense, because in the old days, people will be like, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks of me. That in itself is not being honest with yourself. That's a chauvinistic, or this is the image I'm going to pull on. I'm fucking tough. No one can break that. You have to be like completely real with yourself and go, I don't care about what anybody else thinks right now. I need to get in touch with who I am. That's the step. It's a caring process.
It's so hard because it's your perception of what everyone thinks of you. You're not in their brain. You don't know what they think of you. It's your perception of what they think of you, which is really what you think of you.
No, it's what you want.
What you want them to think of
and
you.
what you want to be.
What you want to be. So you get rid of what you want to be and see, okay, what I am needs to be tested because I don't know what that is. You know, there's a beautiful Baha'i quote that says, with gold, we test fire, and with fire, we test our servants. Really powerful.
Yeah.
That's what that means. Okay. The man in Auschwitz got tested with fire and realized, this is who I am. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So there is a real thing about that. And all the great people that we like, all the people who, they've been through some shit and they've been tested and their character has come out and they realize, okay, I can stand on that because when it was at its lowest, I didn't turn into this. I stayed true to this. So this is what I am.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that. But how do you do that without having to have the hit?
The hit of what other... The
hell. Without going through hell. I guess maybe you can't go through hell.
No, I think you can. Okay, so there's people with malicious intent, right? They lie maliciously for a reason, right? They might have like a ulterior motive, right? I'm talking about if you are listening to this, you're a genuine person and you're finding that you can't be honest. It's because you cannot be honest or you're not comfortable to be honest with the person that you need to be honest with.
Gotcha.
Right?
So your environment.
Yeah. So if you feel you can't be honest, you hide behind something.
Gotcha.
And there's a reason behind it. Whatever that reason is, everybody has got their own individual journey. I'm not saying you blame it on the other person, but you got to find out within yourself, why is it that you're not comfortable to be 100% yourself? Ask yourself that. Then ask yourself, how do you strip that away? And it comes down to letting go of other people's opinions.
By letting go, do you mean forgive?
No.
How do you let go?
You let go by, it's the age old, I don't give a fuck, but not with the ego attached to it. It's you really got to let go of what other people think of you. It's like, if someone doesn't like you because you think this, let that go. Like, if that's what they think, that's what they think, but you got to own it. That's what you think, or that's your opinion, or that's how you feel. Own it, right? Being completely honest is about letting go of other people's opinions of you.
Did you have practical methods to reduce your ego?
I don't think I've ever been egotistical in the sense. Everybody's got an ego. Everybody has an ego.
Yeah, you can't exist without it.
I wouldn't say I was egotistical. I would say some things I came to realize is that I put my head into work too much. And I used to deny that. I used to hide that behind the fact that I have to do that. Right? But I've learned to balance my work and spend time with my kids in a way that I never used to before. Right? And that is just being completely honest. Just being completely honest with yourself.
You're going, I don't have the balance right. That's like, I can see that.
So yeah, I think.
But for me, what I'm asking, I guess, is, did you meditate?
No.
Did you pray?
No.
Did you work out?
No.
Did you eat well? This is the way you got out of depression.
What I did to get out of depression was conscious. Being consciously aware. It had nothing to do
of your own actions.
Yeah. It's self-admittance, it's reflection. If you want to call that meditation, you can. I didn't really meditate.
Reflection is good.
Reflection is what I did, is sat down and started to think.
That's a form of meditation, I guess.
Yeah. I just started to think, okay, what could I have done better here? And then sometimes you tell yourself, and everybody does it, everybody tells themselves something to make it better. Right? You may have done something that's not right in other people's opinions, and you may have told yourself there's a reason why you did it. I'm not saying that's what I did. I'm just saying in general, you need to then ask yourself, am I being honest with myself? And that comes down to reflection. It ain't like, I know people say going and working out is good for your mental health. I believe that. When I used to work out, that was massive for me. I've got a massive back injury now. I can't train the way I used to. So that wasn't one of my
just
choices.
old.
Yeah, I'm fucking old.
You're a
I'm
dinosaur.
an old motherfucker. But I can't train the way I used to. So for me, it came down to reflection, right? And understanding why you do stuff. And that might take time. I didn't do it in one night.
But for me, like, just I don't want to dig into it too much, but I guess, man, you want to like, you have to bounce something off of fundamental truth before you can understand if the thing so imagine a ball, okay, and that's a part of you. Your work-life balance was off. That's a ball. And in order to realize whether this ball is worth something, whether you got to hold on to it, that's a good thing. You got to bounce it off something, whether it bounces back to you and it has, spring in it, or whether it's just going to pop. You got to bounce it off of a wall, and the wall, let's call it the truth. And it's fundamentally universal. This truth has to be universal. It has to be something that all humans understand deeply. And you have to be able to first know what that is, where to find it. A lot of people find it in religion, right? They go, there's a system that makes it simple for me, whether it's right or wrong, to understand that there's a higher something, there's a higher truth than myself, that I am. It's not just me and my ego I'm working with. There's something else. I got to throw the ball at it, and I got to see if the ball bounces back. If it bounces back, it means that it has spring, it has value, it's worth. Maybe that's not the thing that I should be working on, or maybe I can make it better or whatever. But if it pops against the universal truth of the thing, then it's facade, it's a lie, it's empty, it's hollow. It's not the real thing. What I'm asking is, what was it that made you realize, I guess essentially, that the balance, in your example, was off? What did you bounce it off?
It's fucking, I found how you said that really, really cool. But what if I told you maybe my point of view is completely different. I don't look at it as it bouncing. What if I said to you that you are the ball that's stuck on the ground and you need to float again, right? You need to be up. Up means you're happy. Drag to the ground means you're down. And you've got different types of balloons, right, that's attached to you. So some are really weighty, keeping you on the ground, and some will help you float. What if I said to you it was realizing what balloons were weighted holding you down that you got to cut away so the balloon can make you float?
That's a good way. Like a bad friend. Like, that's an easy example. Like a bad friend, like a toxic relationship, like your view of your health, your sense of inner spirituality, whatever that means to you, your vision.
And that's a good way to say inner spirituality. So like, if you need to attach yourself to religion, I've got respect for everybody's religion. Like I don't, like I think I heard on something, and it's not, don't quote me, but I heard on something that there's about 2,000 different religions, some small, some big.
Probably more, man, probably 30,000.
Yeah. There's lots of different religions, right? So who knows what's correct? Who knows if any of them are correct? I'm not here to judge anybody. It's like, if you have a belief in something, I support you, right? As long as you're not a malicious person. My point is that you shouldn't have to have that to make you one with yourself. And it's not ego, right, to be in connection with yourself. So be in connection with yourself. Make you the universe that's better. Make you the center point. Get yourself right, because at the end of the day, when you strip away everybody that you've met around you, everything around you, the only thing you have got left is yourself. You've got your own consciousness, right? That is the center of your being. Without your consciousness, you do not exist. It's fucking ASMR now.
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
It's the shisha.
Oh, it's finished.
Oh, fucking hell. That's when you know the podcast has come to a wrap, guys. The shisha is done. Shisha and chill is over.
So we just came back from dinner.
Mm-hmm.
We had chicken.
Yeah, it was yum. And the veggies, man.
Yeah,
That's,
it's one of those humidifier things.
oh, is that what it was? That's fucking-
Oh no, she did it in the oven, but usually humidifier that does a good
That
job.
was
as well.
fucking yum.
But they've
However
got
she did it.
Teflon in them.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Apparently, it's a whole thing health wise. But I was just talking about, just to wrap up what the idea was, that we're moving. We want to be better. That means we're moving towards something. And atoms in our bodies are always vibrating. And I think part of science tells you a lot of things, but they don't know why some things happen yet. It's young. And one of the theories that I heard that I liked was that the vibration comes from the movement towards the universal thing we call love. It's the most powerful attractor. It's the most powerful energy and magnetic energy and pulling force. It sounds a little bit wishy-washy, but I think there's been some tests done on like in different environments, different things. One of the ones that everyone probably knows already is they tested water. Did you know that?
No.
They did a test on water, and they had a water in a room, if I'm not butchering this, and they told that water, just by words, I love you, and they would play music and tell it how much they loved it, and same water in a different room, and they would say, I hate you, you're ugly, blah blah blah, water. Then they froze them, right? Became ice. The one that was told that it was loved had these beautiful crystals, and there's a video of it as well. There's a whole thing. Beautiful crystallizations, all symmetrical, really gorgeous, really like note, like piano. It's beautiful. The other one, all cracked, no symmetry. It froze differently. It froze ugly. It froze weaker. It's a stronger ice, weaker ice.
Fuck.
Just by words of love to water. And guess what we're made out of, my friend?
Water.
Thank you very much.
Nice little wrap up. I love the discussion, man. I think you highlighted some really great things. I feel on a bigger level, I think I highlighted some stuff for people on an individual level as well. I think it came together really good. So hopefully people get something out of that.
If they watch it, I don't even know if it's on. Is it on?
mean, it's episode 1, so let's see where these go. Yeah, episode 1. Let's see where we go. I hope you guys do tune into it. I've fucking loved it. Yeah, this is Shisha and Chill with Phoenix and Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
See you later.
Love you, mate.